Joining me this morning is, wow, Wade Thompson. I was going to say Thompson Wade. Let's leave it to me to screw that up. 3, 2, 1. Joining me this morning is Wade Thompson from the Planning Department. He's here to help us preview tonight's park plan 5-year outlook, if you will, which this was something that started a while ago with public input, but I jumped the gun there. So,
Sure.
Wade, thanks for being on the show this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start off with, why don't you set us up here first, what's happening at this meeting, and then
Sure.
go into
Just a little background.
helicopter.
So this is kind of the culmination of essentially a 9-month process. Every 5 years, the city updates their park plan. And as you mentioned, that kind of sets the framework or the kind of the future direction of the whole park system. So we've had various meetings. We've talked to city officials. We've talked to the public. We actually had a public meeting back in, I believe it was October or November, kind of at the middle of the process to really get feedback from the public on kind of what direction they thought the park system should head with this plan update. So we took all that feedback, took some feedback from our park commission, and ultimately created a draft of the plan update. So tonight we will be presenting that draft to the public for their review and comment. Generally speaking, the meeting tonight will have an open house at 6:30 where the public can come and look at various posters, maps, information related to the plan update, ask questions of myself and Scott Endel, our parks director. And at 7 o'clock, we'll do kind of a formal presentation where we'll, again, talk about the process for the plan update, highlight some major aspects of that plan update, and then kind of open it up for kind of discussion and feedback. So really, again, just an opportunity for the public to come and see what we've been up to for the past 6 to 9 months, offer some comment, and then ultimately we'll take that comment and then go back to our Parks Commission in a couple months and try to get that process going to ultimately get this plan update adopted probably by May of this year. So, yep.
What's kind of the goal behind doing this every 5 years? Why does the city work on these plans?
Yeah, I think, generally speaking, a lot of stuff changes as a city. I think in the past 5 years, we've probably gained close to, 2,000 or 3,000 new people. Some of those people are younger, some are older, some have families, some don't. So really the idea is as we grow and develop, our roads, our businesses, our residential areas, and our parks need to reflect what our citizens are looking for. So, 30 years ago, baseball fields were real popular in terms of park uses. Chances are now you drive by a park and you see a baseball field and it may not be being used. So I think the idea is we really want to make sure that our park system reflects current trends and demographics in terms of what people want to do when they recreate. Some ideas we're throwing out there is this idea for food and drink opportunities. You go to places in Europe, you go to bigger cities in the U.S., you can get maybe a cup of coffee, a sandwich, a food cart at a public park space. So exploring some of those ideas. Also related to that, Fitchburg has a well-known agricultural identity. So this idea of potentially having community gardens in our parks. Other places are doing that, City of Madison, Village of DeForest. So again, just really trying to understand what the recreation demands are currently, and then developing a plan and ultimately a park system that addresses those recreational demands and needs. So,
this might be asking too much of you since I didn't prep you too much for this, but from the last 5 years to get into this plan, things worked out pretty good then in the planning process. I know that's before your time, a part of it, but did a lot of the previous plan work out? And then do you take some of what you've already started there? Because some of those have got to be very long term.
And to some degree, I wasn't here, as you mentioned, for development of that plan. Now, some plans are more general in nature. They don't offer real specific aspects of progress or measurables or those sorts of things. From my perspective, in terms of how I like to plan and create plans, I like to be real specific with measurable, things. 5 years from now, we can look back and say we had these 15 items. How do we do? Or what was our progress in terms of addressing those items? So our last plan was a bit more general in scope. A little bit harder to maybe measure, but there were some things in there. Things about community gardens that we've made progress on. So I'd say overall, I think we did really good work in kind of with the 2010 update, making sure that we stayed true to that plan and try to incorporate and implement some of the ideas in that plan. But this new plan update, again, I think is a bit more specific. So 5 years from now, I think we'll get a really good sense of, what we did well to kind of bring that system, up to where it needs to be, and maybe some things that we need to keep working on. So,
what was some of the residents' input that came from the first meeting?
Just trying to jog my memory a little bit.
Hey, I'm good at just digging up here.
Yeah, no, I think generally we had some pretty good ideas fleshed out at that meeting that we presented to the public. One such idea is this idea of not every park can be everything to everyone. So really looking at what are some unique attributes that Fitchburg has, things like biking, natural resources, our agricultural land, and really looking at creating park spaces that maybe focus on a theme and really, kind of enhancing that park space to really accentuate that theme and draw, users from not only our city, but from throughout the region. And that was a concept that was well received by the public. We got some good feedback on that. Community gardens was another idea we presented, got some good feedback on that. I think for the most part, people are really happy with the system. So there was just, a few, maybe some maintenance issues here or there, mowing certain parts of parks that weren't being mowed. But I think generally speaking, people are really supportive of our system, and they recognize what we're trying to do to make sure it stays, kind of where it needs to be in terms of meeting demands. So not a whole lot of specific comments, but again, just general support and interest in what we've been up to. So
perfect, Wade. Well, if you want to see the whole kick and caboodle tonight, that meeting kicks off again at 6:30 tonight, and with your presentation again right at 7 o'clock.
And if I could just point out, the draft plan is online on our
perfect.
website for people that want to go to that. And I won't read you the URL; it's a bit long, but if you basically go to the city's website and then you get to our planning and zoning page, and then there'll be a link that I believe is ongoing plans, and you click on that and you'll get to our plan draft. So
perfect.
Yep.
It's there.
Yep.
You're right on.
I'm memorized.
So, perfect. All right, Wade, thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck tonight. We'll have a camera crew out there as well, as a reminder to you folks that we will bring you this, of course, the full thing on full meeting on our Gov channel, and then a recap on Friday's show. So, Wade, thank you so much.
Thank you.